The problem with historical films is, of course, they generally cost a lot of money to make, and if you want to do them effectively, you have to spend money on them, and you have to have the right costumes, settings. The list is endless to the amount of boxes you have to tick. I'm quite fortunate to have quite a few professional actors as friends, and also people who have an interest in history. And we had access to quite a lot of 11th century arms, armour, costumes, quite a lot, but not a massive amount. We had to source quite a bit. And yeah, I broached the idea with the team that we could write a Viking film.
At which stage I thought he'd lost his mind.
For those very reasons, because it's not something that I don't think it's something that's ever been made before. I don't know. We've tried to find another Viking short film.
So why Vikings?
I think it's an interesting period of history. It's not been touched too much by Hollywood. This is ironic, actually, but after we'd made the film, we found out that Mel Gibson's just about to make a Viking film with Leonardo DiCaprio in it. So we're quite pleased that we got to the post before Mel. That sounds like we're actually in direct competition with him there. But it's an exceptionally volatile part of British history that isn't really touched on. We were in such a state of flux. People remember the Norman invasion, that's obviously a big date. Earlier on, the Romans, but the Vikings and the Anglo-Saxons before them were probably the biggest influence that we have today. Half of our, well, 3/4 of our town names, of our vocabulary are Scandinavian. They come from, Danish, Norway. Most of Scotland was populated by Norwegians. It was a really big influence, and it was also a time that was pretty ruthless to society, and that's something that we wanted to comment on, was the fact that I think that people have an idea that people in history are in some way not as intelligent as people today, which is ridiculous. They're exactly the same as we are. Now, we haven't evolved that far for the last 2,000 years. Technologically we have, but in the same time there were incredible innovations during the 11th, 12th, 13th centuries of medicine, irrigation, mining, etc. It was an important time, and once again one that they called the Dark Ages. And I wanted to show how both the social aspects of life worked then, and also the reality of how harsh life was.
It's a period that a lot of people have a lot of misconceptions about, and so we wanted to make something that was as realistic as possible without going too over the top.